Welcome to Saturday's Warrior, the channel where we talk all things BYU and Big 12. And even though we say all things, we rarely get around to talking about baseball. But we are in the middle of the College World Series right now. And while I don't really watch a ton of baseball, I do try to keep tabs on BYU throughout the season and catch as many, at least as much of their games that they have. And I like to click around and watch some of the other Big 12 matchups. Although I'm so grateful we have BYU TV because some of these other ones I can't remember. ASU and Arizona, some of the others just have terrible coverage at their fields that it makes it almost unwatchable. But something I discovered a few years ago as BYU was getting ready to enter into the Big 12, and I was so anxious to just consume all things Big 12, I found myself watching college baseball come playoff time and just found it really exciting. I didn't really understand the format at first. I still, sometimes get a little bit lost with it, but I think it's super intriguing and it's kind of this hidden gem. Like I have friends that have watched it for years and swore by it, and I just, never really got into it. And now as I start watching, it's just great. It's so exciting. It's very entertaining. It's a really great postseason. Unfortunately, BYU really isn't there. They're getting their baseball program there, and I hope they're able to turn it around like they have some of their other sports and really be up there and compete at the highest level within the Big 12. But that is not the case right now. But what I do want to do is as we get into the summer months, I love to do these uniform rankings. Now, I've done several for Big 12 and across all the other major conferences throughout the years, although it's been some time. And it's time with all this realignment to redo all my rankings, and I hope to get to those this summer. But before we do, tonight we're going to focus on baseball. And baseball is one of those things, uniforms, I think, I don't have as strong opinions about it as I do with some of the other sports. So tonight is going to be a little bit more subjective with with my rankings here. It's really just going to be gut feeling. Whereas like football, basketball, I know what I want and I know what I want to see and what I don't want to see. With baseball, it's really just a feeling here. But when you know, you know. So the things that I am looking at though is I don't want baseball could easily start looking like pajamas. I don't want that. And also I want to see who is able to really convert, that's not the right word, but really portray their school's brand, the one that you see on the basketball court, on the football field, in baseball form, that I think really captures that brand and that team, that school. I think that's something that I really look for as well. And outside of that, I'm just looking for what looks cool. So enough talk. Let's get to it now. And we'll start with really it's just 14. So the bottom is already Colorado and ISU. I don't know why you guys don't have baseball teams, but you got to turn that around. I know there's Title IX and stuff, but they're the losers because they're not even in this thing. But we're going to rank the teams 1 through 14. So let's get to it. At number 14, we've got Oklahoma State. Now, I'm pretty disappointed because I feel like OSU has a lot of potential to have some really cool baseball uniforms. But I just think that too often baseball teams get a little gimmicky. I don't like using the baseball bat image there on the logo on the two on the sides. And those just don't even really resemble the branding from other Oklahoma State uniforms. And then this pinstripe one in the middle, like not every team needs to have pinstripes. It just does not really work with the feel, with the flow, with what they have going on. I do love that cowboy script there on that pinstripe uniform, but nothing really goes together there. It's just kind of a jumbled mess. And so for me, they are at the bottom of the conference. At number 13, we have Kansas State. Now I'm really disappointed in these because I absolutely love their football and basketball uniforms. And these here don't capture that at all. They are just very bland and boring. So a big miss for me for K-State. At number 12, we have Texas Tech. Now, I do feel like what they get right here is that these do feel on brand for Texas Tech. they just don't really work for me. It's not one that I can really pinpoint to specific things. I just, this is more just a gut one. I just don't really care for the way their uniforms all come together. At number 11, we've got Cincy. And while they're ranked pretty low on this list, I actually think their baseball uniforms are one of the better uniforms they have across their major sports. I think they're pretty clean. I like this white one for the most part. I'm just not digging the either of the others. The red and the all black. I don't know what that's about. That one looks like pajamas and kind of the shiny look with it. I just don't dig it. I like the hat, but that's about it. At number 10, we have UCF. Now, overall, these are not bad. I think they're pretty clean and they come together pretty well. I even like the pinstripe look for them. It's just it just doesn't come together. Just something about UCF's branding, and I feel that way about their football and basketball as well. Is it feels like they're almost there. I can't really put my finger on it. It's just something that doesn't jive with me. At number 9, I have Utah, and I actually really like these for the most part. I really like them going back to this cursive script, and I really dig the interlocking used with that cream color. Those are really retro, and I think they look really slick. Otherwise, I think these other looks are pretty good. I don't dig that thick collar, that V-neck that they have that looks very resembles the football uniform. I know I said I like having that symmetry across sports, but it just doesn't translate real well. I'm not as big a fan of that jersey pullover look either. I like more of the button up. The other thing is the gray. I just don't think it looks as good with Utah's colors. So again, a lot of really good things here for Utah, which I'm obviously coming at this from a bias perspective, but I do think they've got a lot of good things going. But overall, there's just a few things here that for me knock it down. At number 8, we have Arizona. Now, I think their branding here is really spot on and consistent with their looks across other sports, but also consistent with those other sports is that it just doesn't quite do it for me. I can't figure out what it is, whether it's football, basketball, you name it. I look at them, I think, yeah, this is what I'd like to see Arizona do, but then I can't quite figure out why it doesn't quite do it for me, why it doesn't quite land. At number 7, we've got the Cougs with 2 O's from Houston. Now, this is a really clean look, really no complaints from me. The only thing is that it also doesn't have anything that really wows me. And some of these teams ahead of Houston, well, I guess all the teams ahead of Houston, have something that grabs me a little bit more. At number 6, we have the Cougs, spelled correctly with a U. And I have to admit that my bias may have influenced me here a little bit because their away uniforms are pretty atrocious. But these white homes in the middle here are so good that for me it was worth elevating them. I mean, this is how you do pinstripe. This royal blue, I just love these. It has like a very classic baseball feel, but without trying to do too much. And I love the Cosmo on the hat, whereas the others, the Navy, the more traditional baseball uniform and look that they use, because while football and basketball have gone more heavy on royal, baseball I think is still primarily Navy, and they even have that more classic Y, not the stretch Y that they use in football. And these are just really clean uniforms. I really like this. So BYU, I have them at 6. At number 5, now we are in the upper echelon of uniforms in the Big 12. And ASU, I think, definitely belongs there. These uniforms are all really good. The only one I don't like is the one with yellow as the primary color. That's not a good look in any of their sports, but I love their color scheme when they have their more maroon with the yellow highlights, and it works really well with the gray. I just really like it. There's no complaints for me, and I really like this classic one up in the top right, that kind of 90s, 80s retro look. So very solid look from the Sun Devils. At number 4, we have West Virginia. And what I love about this look is that it just perfectly captures the Mountaineer brand, their look and feel. And I think they do it even better than the football or basketball. It's just clean. It knows who it is, doesn't try to do too much. And I love that hat. Just a really solid look. And number three, I've got Baylor. And I really love these uniforms. My really only complaint is the yellow jersey. Same as ASU. It's just not my favorite look. Great as a highlight color. I even think they pull off the pinstripes pretty well. And this is another uniform where I love the hat. Like, I would rock that. At number two, we have TCU. Now, neither school will like to hear this, but you could say basically all the good things I said about Baylor, about TCU. Both of them just really no notes, solid across the board. The reason why I put TCU ahead of Baylor is I don't like Baylor's primary yellow, and I think that TCU pulls off that all pinstripe look even better. So TCU, I got them at number two. At number one, we've got Kansas. Now, don't get mad at me. I really don't feel great about putting Kansas at the top of any of my lists, no matter what it's for. But in this one, I think it is well deserved. Number one, I think they do a really great job of being consistent with that Kansas brand, and it really shows through here, but in a really clean way, which is crazy because their football uniforms are usually a mess, even though they have gotten better. And their basketball is super iconic. I don't want them to change it because that is Kansas basketball, and they've got their look. But for me, it's not always my favorite. It doesn't always come together the best. But these are clean, solid baseball uniforms. I really love it. Every look, there are no notes. Kansas nailed it. They earned this spot. So what do you think of these rankings? What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Please defend your team. If I wronged your team and I didn't give them a fair shake, please put all that in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe. We will be doing other uniform rankings throughout the summer, and of course we do tons of content once we get back into season as we cover all of BYU and the Big 12 throughout football and basketball, and hopefully a little more baseball going forward. Thanks for watching. Go Big 12 and go Cougs.